get started, I believe that today we are starting out with a clip again. We're going to talk about today men's brains versus women's brains. Please reserve your comments for afterwards, because I know ladies feel like your brains are way bigger than ours. Or actually, you probably think ours are bigger, but you use them better. Well,
more better.
Something. So let's pray and then let's go on. Father, we come before you this morning, Lord, we're grateful for another day. Lord, we just ask that you would just instill in our hearts the things that you want us to take away from this, Father. Lord, we have a good time together, but it's all about learning. It's all about growing. Father, if we come week after week or don't come as often as we should, then we're not growing. And we should be able to look back and go, I'm a better person today than I was yesterday, than I was last week, and I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to make my relationship better, and that's why I'm here to invest in it. Lord, be with us all on this day. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's play that video.
Men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right, now men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box. We pull that box out. We open the box. We discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Sorry, my Catholic upbringing got in there for a minute, but I'm not a Catholic, but I went to Catholic school when I was little. I had a nun who taught on hell like she was born and raised there. I mean, I'll never forget it. It did me good, actually. It was a good thing. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Amen. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. It's like the internet superhighway. Okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. And we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. And we love it. That's why a guy can sit in front of a TV and go. Close. Of course, this drives our wives nuts because they'll come up and say, "Stop that! You can't possibly be watching anything!" I'm not. Go away. Now they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that, watch the brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead! Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing. And one of the biggest revelations I get out of women is this whole nothing box issue. Everything's starting to make sense. And I've had women say, "Oh, it's nothing. Well, can I go in his nothing box with him?" No! Why not? Because then it's something! Besides, you'll walk in there and go, You know, this place could really use some pictures. Nice little table over here, some flowers. No! Nothing! Get out! We don't want nothing!
Some of you are laughing so much you're coughing. Some of you are just coughing, and that means you're laughing. But either way, as far as the fishing part goes, I'm pretty sure it's talking about freshwater fishing, not ocean fishing. Ocean fishing is not like that at all. So, good way to start off, no?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about it. How do you think men and women's brains are different from each other? Besides the nothing box, how are we different?
It's definitely different because men have things, they have certain subjects like that, just like the boxes. And women, or my brain is always all over the place. It's definitely all over the place.
Okay.
One's wired and straight.
Compartmentalize. Laura?
We had an instant this week where Ed's like, we talked about that like yesterday. Why are you bringing that up now? And I'm like, well, this led to this and this. And he's like, okay.
Okay. What are you saying? that men aren't. We can eat and breathe at the same time. That is multitasking. Okay?
Wow.
Don't even start.
They eat and breathe at the same time, but then like when women are like, we're talking about something, we go into like 4 different subjects, and it's like, and for men, that would be like 4 different boxes, but we're all putting it all together in one.
And then you think I would like to,
Okay, let's hear about what the sex is. James?
I want to go with the analogy of my brain is like a binder. And like school, when you had 6 periods, you had 6 different subjects. So, and each of those subjects categorize, a different thing that I like to do, constantly.
Okay. And someone over here?
I believe men are multitaskers, but like he said, they use it different than the way we use it.
Okay.
Because if they don't have to bring it out, they won't.
Well, I'm waiting for somebody that's been coming to Fusion for a long time, or for at least any decent period of time, tell me the answer that we've actually heard in the past. Women are what? Okay, let's stop, because the guys will fill in the blank and then the stuff's going to start flying. Women think on emotion. Okay, that's how brains are different. Women's brains are different because women think with emotion. Men, on the other hand, think what? Well, don't say non-emotionally. Logically. Not to say that women don't think logically. That's a discussion for another day. Okay? But men think logically. We kind of have a tendency to, we got to think it out. Whereas women think from emotion. How many of you have heard that before? I would hate to think that you've been coming for any period of time and you can't remember that. I know it was something. See, and that's where the guys are like, they went to the nothing box because they were just staring blank, couldn't figure it out. So, is there an example in your own marriage? Now listen, when I ask you to refer to your own marriage, this is not an open invitation for a bagging session. Okay? This is not an open invitation to air out your dirty laundry or anything like that. But, if your spouse is not here, completely different story. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But, can you give an example of your own marriage, how that demonstrates that difference? How in a certain situation, one person thought about one thing and the other person was thinking in a completely different arena? Anthony? Oh, where's Fabiola? She's not here. Let it fly, brother.
we'll argue about something stupid, and then later on in the night I'll forget all about it, and then she'll be like, so what was this about? And I'm like, I don't know. I was thinking, and like she'll just talk about it, and talking about it, and like I'll catch little bits and pieces, but I just won't be there.
You're living in that nothing spot.
And then like part of my mind is like, okay, let's just, is it over here?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of times we get into a disagreement, especially when it's the woman getting upset with the man. And how many of you know that the women usually get upset with the man more than the man gets upset with the woman? How many of you know that? Okay? Man, if you didn't raise your hand, you better raise your hand. You better know that. Okay? That's something that if you walk away with nothing else today, walk away with that. Okay? That they are going to get mad at you more than you are going to get mad at them. And so when that happens, they have to know why. They need to know that. They need to resolve that issue. They need to make sure that you understand. It's kind of like your kids. Why did daddy punish you? I don't know. That's exactly how we are with women. Do you know what you did to make me mad? I don't know. Right? We don't know. I mean, we do, but we kind of don't. And so they want to revisit it and make sure that I'm going to make sure you understand why I'm not happy. Right? And we want nothing more than, can I go watch TV now? Or can you make me something to eat? Or can I just take a nap? Or, whatever it is. We just want to move on. You know, it's just like, look, let's just forget it. You know, but see, the woman needs completion. They need follow through. They need to know, you know, do you understand why? Yes. Why are you yelling? Do you understand why? That's huge differences in the brain. Yes. Hold on. There's like one right behind the other. So we'll let the front row go first, and then the second row can go second. How's that?
Well, what the part I don't understand is this, when we try to fix a situation, and they know that it's a situation, and they pretend like, oh, it's nothing wrong, and I don't want to talk about it. Well, I do want to talk about it, because that's why we're always going like this, because we don't forget what happened a year ago, 20 years ago.
Oh, we know.
Wouldn't it be easier with two people, the husband and the wife would get together, and we would solve the issue right there, and then just forgive and forget, move on? Because I know it's continuously.
Well, there's two ways that you can handle this, guys. You know, one of the things that we've learned over a period of time is there's a right time and a right place to talk about things that are bothering you. If it happens right then and there, it's kind of like calling someone on their bluff, right? The man is not really trying to walk around and upset you, okay? Most of us, okay? We don't predetermine, oh, I'm going to get her good on this one. You know, I'm just going to absolutely be a stinker and just, you know, but then when something happens, you want the resolution right then and there. And if your man tells you, I don't want to talk about it right now, you'd be like, oh, you want to talk about it right now? Huh? Right? Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes and then we're going to talk about it. But that's not really, you may not talk about it until later that night. You may not talk about it until the next day. You better time out. You better time out, or better yet, plan out when you're going to have this discussion, because when you do and how you do is going to determine the end result of that conversation. If you want to press the issue, and I'm not defending men, because this goes both ways. You want to call your woman out on something, you better make sure that you are doing it in a way that is going to be positive. Because if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to start a war. And you want to keep pushing the fact, no, I need to know right now. I need to know right now. I need to know right now. Push the button, push the button, push the button. Right? What happens when you keep pushing the button? You know, you're going to get a reaction, and it's not going to be the reaction that you're looking for. You want resolution, but you want it in your way. Well, he wants resolution too, and he wants it in his way. Remember, I told you, and I'll keep on telling you, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what comes your way, it's how you deal with it. So when you got that issue, timing is everything, right? You ever remember, guys, when you had a crush on some girl in school and you said, well, I'm going to ask her to dance, I'm going to ask her to dance, I'm going to ask her to dance. You didn't go up to her in the middle of all of her friends. If you did, you was a fool, okay? Because when she said no, now everybody knew it right in front, but you picked the time that you went up and asked her. I'm going to catch her when she's out of her locker by herself. I'm going to catch her, hopefully you didn't say in that dark alley after school. But I'm going to catch her, I'm going to catch her when she's by herself, to where, hey, if things don't go well, then it's just going to be me. She'll probably tell her friends afterwards, but I can deny it and go, you asked me and I said no. So it's the same thing. We have to make sure that the timing is right. You don't call your spouse out in front of everybody else, right? You don't, listen, you can call me what you want, but I'm on Facebook, I'm a pastor, I see everything that everybody posts. If you're my friend, you want to delete me, that's on you, but that's fine, But if you're going to put it out there on Facebook, you're going to put your spouse on blast on Facebook, you're going to call other people out on Facebook, that's just immature. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to tell you. You got a problem with your spouse, deal with it in your home, not out on the internet. You got a problem with somebody else, if you want to get all biblical about it, the Bible says go up to them and talk to them. All right. said, I wish people would just, I wish you would just keep your comments to yourself. You know, I've seen so many times, I wish people would say, well, I wish they had a dislike button or a hate button or whatever it is instead of the like button. You know, because there's so many people that's like, man, I can't even believe that you put that out there. And nothing bothers me worse is when you're talking about your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever the case may be. That's just immaturity, you know? I'm sorry, but I got to call it, I say it in love. I love all of you, but man, don't act a fool. Because you are certainly not helping your relationship by throwing it out there into cyberspace, letting everybody that's your friend know that you're a fool. And then they like somebody, of course, one of your girlfriends gets, oh, I like that girl, you right. Right? And then that goes on her wall, and then everybody else that's her friend gets to see what a fool you are because you're posting that stuff. Then pretty soon, the whole world knows that you're posting stuff. Right? So, you had a comment.
I don't believe that women want to belabor an issue. I think the concern is when we push the button, and the man stops, right? Because that wall comes up because they can't deal with that pushing and pushing. But eventually it has to be dealt with, not a year later, 6 months later. So if a man is uncomfortable, they need to go through that and handle it, because it's not going to go away unless it's handled.
Well, absolutely true, and that's why I say, I did say, you know, if it's an hour later, if it's that night or whatever, I didn't say a year later or anything like that, because, you know, people that have a tendency sweeping things under the carpet wind up calling Pastor Allen and go, man, we've got to meet with you, because, you
Well,
know.
some of those nothing boxes are huge.
Right, that's absolutely true, yes.
Okay, I heard this from the wives, and I've been married 30 years. You have to deal with the situations, but who knows her husband better than us women? We know our man. So the best way to deal with it is when we know when we can bring it up again.
That's right.
Not 6 months later, not 2 weeks later, but we know our husbands went together at a good time.
Right.
And have that conversation.
Hey.
And make it short.
And if you're going to sit there and you know that he likes to watch this certain program, can we talk about it now? Can I just watch my program? Right? Get us in the shower. Well, he can't go anywhere. He's in that. Get us in the shower. Can we talk about it now? Can I just shower? Right? How about at the dinner table? They're sitting down. I made him a meal, or maybe I microwave something, but nonetheless, he's sitting down, he's feeding his face. Isn't that a good time? Can I just eat my dinner? Right? I mean, so timing is everything. Okay, well, between showering and eating, and when is there time? You know? Well, the Bible says don't let the sun go down on your wrath, which means don't go to bed angry. You know? If you got to stay up a little bit late and talk, okay, then that's what you need to do. But timing is everything. It really is everything. And if you look at, is there situations in your marriage? Does the concept of the nothing box help you explain it? Ladies, does that make sense? Now that you hear that we actually really do, he wasn't kidding, he made a joke about it, but we really do have that nothing box. Does that help explain anything in your relationship?
Yes. No.
How many of you would say yes, ladies?
Yes.
How many of you would say no? How many of you think it's just an excuse?
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course you do. Of course you do. All right. Proverbs 1:5 says, the wise also will hear and increase in learning, and the person of understanding will acquire skill and attain to sound counsel, so that they may be able to steer his course rightly. Proverbs 25 says, someone's thoughts may be as deep as the ocean, but if you're smart, you're going to discover them. So, how do men and women handle stress differently? How do we handle, let me hear from some women. How do you handle stress?
Well,
Hold on.
to answer both questions, women tend to want to talk it out, and men tend to want to run away from it for a little bit. Take a drive, or play a game, or...
Okay. Women, how many of your men want to, if you have one, how many of your men go into the garage to get over their stuff? How many of them go in the backyard? How many of them go for a ride? How many of them tell you that they're going for a ride? Okay. Who else was gonna say, Destiny, you were gonna say something?
Well, I like to drive my car, actually, that's how I.
Okay, so you de-stress by driving. What else?
Jim.
No, Alan. Yes.
Go for a walk.
For a walk, okay? What else? Nobody wants to say, well, I have a drink. Nobody's gonna say, you know, I go and do this or I go and do that, but there's plenty of people that's how they de-stress. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying, if we're being honest and we're saying that's how you de-stress, then that's how it's, so, Maria?
I don't like to always talk about it, so I'll just do something that I like to do. Like, I usually paint my nails when I'm stressed. I'll color my hair, do something different with my hair, or just do something, yeah, just do something for me, or do like a fun project that I haven't had time to do.
Okay.
So I just stop and,
So it's a you project,
yeah.
okay? Olive?
I tend to open the Bible and read something positive because I get a lot of evil thoughts in my head when I'm stressing. Very bad thoughts. So I like to open the book and read something positive and get that demon out of me.
Okay?
And that's how I handle
Okay?
my
I
stress.
saw him over here. Yes, Debbie. Deborah.
I sleep.
Sleeping? Okay, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. When you pray when you wake up, everything's going to be different, right?
Well, no, because I get mad. I get like really mad, and so sleeping just helps me calm down, and then I'll wake up and be able to deal with it.
How many of you listen to music? You know, I don't do regularly, but doesn't that de-stress you?
Yes.
Especially when you hear, you know, it's like, you know, you could have the worst day in the world, and all of a sudden one of those, that's my jam, right? And then you pump it up, and then you know, you start, all of a sudden you're singing along, and then you can't even remember what you're mad at. You know, usually it's not a, you know, some people like to put on praise and worship, and you know, I see all the time that, oh, I'm cleaning my house, and I've got praise and worship going on, and look, man, whatever gets you to do that, that's fine. You know, no problem. Yes.
Sometimes I like go shopping or to the grocery store and sometimes get inspired like
Yeah, women are good at that.
And then I'll come back and I'll make it plus nice. I get out of the house and I'm on for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's amazing the frame of mind that comes back again.
Here's something that is very different, male and female. Women, how many of you feel better if you're mad, you go shopping, you buy something, I don't care what it is, it could be a new brush for the shower, but you buy something, you feel better, right? How many of you women? Come on, how many of you women? Put your hands up. Okay, all right, men. Men are not going to go shopping when they're mad, okay, except your husband.
Technology.
Okay? He's the only one.
Best
And
Buy.
it's always for electronics. And you have an issue, man. You need electronics rehab. Okay? But most men will not go and spend money when they're mad. Why? Because that's what we stress on is money. You know? It's like, man, I can't make myself feel better because now I got to worry about if I buy something, I ain't going to have enough money for when she goes shopping because I know she's going to go shopping. Right? Huh? That's right. When you guys go buy something, we got to suck it up. Oh, you went, okay. When we go shopping, we got to come home. What'd you spend this much money on? I bought it for you, babe. It's a fishing rod. How am I going to do? Yes.
What do you say about some men, because I know some men that go and, they spend on clothes on themselves. What do you say about those kind of men?
I say, what, those kind of men? It's like anything else. You know, we've talked about finances before. In my humble opinion, as far as a couple goes, budget should be discussed, and money on you and money on me. Those are things that should be discussed. Decisions that are made to spend any kind of substantial amount of money should be discussed and agreed upon. You know, that's my opinion. You don't like it, you don't have to take it, but then again, I'll wait for your phone call and say, Pastor Allen, we're having problems, and you know, money's a problem, can we meet? And I'm going to sit down, I'm going to tell you the same thing again. If you are married, there should be no hiding money from each other. There should be no, well, I'm just, you know, I make more than they do, therefore, listen, it's either 100%, or you're setting yourself up for failure. You know? I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but your toes must be sticking out your shoes so I can step on them. You know? So, yes.
You know, I'm 60 years old, independent for many years as a small businessman. Finances, when you said, is a big concern in two married couples. It is true that those finances are the responsibility of the man who is responsible to make to go out and buy next time a new car next time. Today is how do we stay afloat? How, as a small businessman, depending on what you do, on everyone to support the business, becomes not just stressful. I wish I had an empty box. And, you know, as he talks about the neighbor, but I have constantly just how do I support not just myself and my wife, but all those that work for me. So finances, it's great to talk about it, but when you're independent and you don't have an employer who pays you a check on a weekly basis, it is
All consuming. Yep, I understand. Been there. I've been there and I understand. So, you know, what he was saying was being an independent business owner and not having relying on someone to give you a paycheck every week and being finances are a huge burden on a relationship. And so, and as far as, look, you guys better come up with, come to an agreement that, your role because of what you say, because of your generation and everything, yes, it was cool to say that, hey, the man goes out, earns a living, takes care of the finances, that's gone, I understand and I empathize and sympathize in the situation that you're in, and I think that a lot of people may not, I'm not trying to compare your situation or anything, but I think a lot of people with the economy, with the way that things have been over the last 5 to 6 years, a lot of people have been affected by this. It's not a matter of the man going out and making a job. It's a matter of you two coming together and figuring out how you're going to make it work. If you got to get a job, you got to get a job. And just let me throw this in there, and then we're going to move on because this is not about finances. But I will tell you this: a lot of you that have little children, your first response is, "Well, I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to go throw the kids in daycare, or I'm going to pay so and so to watch the kids." You better sit down and compare the cost of putting your kid in daycare, taking them back and forth, the money that you're spending on that, with the amount of money that you're going to make from your job, because you may wind up that you're going in the hole just to go to work every day.
Amen.
Okay? And test me if you want. But you just got to make sure. You got to look at all those things. You can't just make rash decisions and just say, well, I got to get a job. I'm a big supporter of do something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Don't let somebody else, I wish I could tell everybody, get into your own business. Do something for yourself. I don't care if it's a little business or something from home or you get a website or whatever the case may be. Do something for yourself. Don't let somebody else. Quick comment?
Stressing out. Before I became a Christian, if I got really stressed, I'd go out and find somebody to comfort me.
You what?
I'd go out and find somebody to be stressed with. Now,
We'll just leave it at that.
after I became a Christian, Sylvia found out if she got me really mad, I'd beat her back. Stay mad.
For those of you that have to paint all through the house, we're gonna understand that. All right, let me give you one more scripture, and then we're going to watch another clip. Psalm 49:3 says, "My mouth will speak words of wisdom. The meditation of my heart will give you understanding." I will tell you this, gentlemen. Sometimes our women will say things to us, and they are crying out but not directly. And so, when we say something to our women, we talk, straight out. We don't dance around the subject. We just put it up, and then we deal with the consequences afterward. Your woman, when she talks to you, she talks in code, okay? And she may be talking to you, crying out the desires of her heart, and we're not hearing it. We're not understanding it because our brains work differently. So this is a twofold thing. Men, you got to try to, if you got to look at her with that nothing box open and look at her and go, what do you mean by that? Okay? Then that's what you need to do. And women, you have to understand that you are speaking in code, and as Claudina likes to say, maybe you need to dumb it down a little bit for us. Don't just, if you got something on your heart that you really want to talk about, let's say that you're in charge of the kids, right? You decided as a couple, listen, you go to work, I'll take care of the kids, I'll help with their homework, everything like that. You got a kid that's flunking. You feel like a failure because you feel like you're letting down the kid because you're not helping them enough, you're not doing what you're supposed to, and so you want to express this. Maybe you need to get him involved because he did better in school and he's better in this subject, but if you don't tell him, if you're just taking it upon yourself and you just feel like a failure and you're just letting everything lay and not saying anything, how do you expect us to help? Well, it got real quiet. See? Because, ladies, you gotta come to the understanding that, don't speak in spider webbing like we've talked about before. This leads to this, which leads to this, which leads to... Just tell me what you mean. To put it in a simpler version, and a lot of times you guys will go, well, I do tell you, yes, but you give us the movie version. Okay? You give us the movie version. Just give us the short story. Because guys, I'm not trying to be mean, ladies. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be anything. Our attention spans are not that great. Okay? So you want to start talking about this, and this, and really you're trying to end up over here? Can you just make a straight, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So to get over here, just start here and come right over here. That's how we understand things the best. And you would think, well, that must be you. Don't pray for Claudina because, man, obviously you got issues. Your man is just like me when it comes to that. Man, how many of you agree with me? 100%. Okay. And all the rest of you that don't, you just afraid because you're the one sitting there. All right, I got to watch this clip. Or you got to watch this clip.
Now this handles the way men and women handle stress. Okay? When a man is stressed out, all he wants to do is run to his nothing box. This is how we unwind. The last thing we want to do when we're stressed out is talk about it. We don't want to talk about it, we just want to... Because this drives her nuts, A woman will see a man in that vegetative state and she'll come up and go, what you thinking about? Nothing. We got anything about something? No, I was thinking about nothing. In fact, I was on the roll till you showed up. Go away, all right? Because that's how we handle stress. You just... Now, when a woman is stressed out, she has to talk about it. If she doesn't talk about it, her brain will literally explode. So she'll start to say, I don't know, my husband do this, not going to happen to me, I never thought about this, my brother, and I know men who run from their wives wives when they do this. Then I say, well, why do you run from her? He says, because I don't know what to tell her. I said, dear God, man, who told you to tell her anything? She wants you to tell her anything. See, a lot of guys, they feel obligated when you start explaining all your stress, they feel obligated to fix you. Right? Because that's what a man does. A man only tells his troubles to another man in hopes that that man will help fix it. Okay? But she's not a man. And you try and fix her, she's gonna kill you. Right? She doesn't want your advice. She doesn't want your help. She wants you to shut up and listen. And the ladies, that's right, you tell me. Tell me to shut up. They like that. Now, I had one guy tell me, he said, man, she just tell me how she feels. I said, she doesn't know yet. So what it is, that's how she figures out how she feels by connecting this wire to that wire, this wire, and so on. Now, because they love each other, they offer to each other their answer, their solution. A man senses his wife is stressed out. He loves the girl. He offers to the girl his best and finest solution. I guess we're talking about it. Just quit thinking about it. And that's when she starts reaching for the knives and stuff. She's gonna stab you if you keep it up, okay? Now, a woman, she senses her husband's all stressed out. She loves him. Therefore, she offers to him her best and finest solution. Talk to me! Why won't you talk to me? Go away. He doesn't want to talk to you. Leave him alone. He will not die. He's not a woman. I know you've got to talk it through or you're going to be twisted inside. He's not like that. Leave the boy alone. You tell him he's stressed out, just let him go to his nothing box. Just stay away. Stay away. Okay? And it's hard for us to understand that because we think so differently from each other.
I know some of you women don't agree that you should leave him alone, but leave the boy alone. So, we talked about handling stress differently, right? It's true. Did I give you the scriptures? I gave you Psalm 49:3, right? Proverbs 2:2 says, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. Wow, what a concept that is. Turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. You know, you may not always agree with each other, but understanding each other is a huge jump. If you understand that he doesn't want to talk about it, and you should just leave it alone for a little while, that's wisdom. On the other hand, guys, if you understand that your woman needs to talk about it, and at some point you're going to have to talk about it, then that also, too, is wisdom, right? Would you agree? Yeah. So, if you think about that, that's probably one of the best things that you can do to be able to understand, to have that wisdom and to understand each other. I want to probably get, I think I have one more video that I want to show you, and we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll finish this up, hopefully in time. So let's watch this last one. One more. Yeah, one more. Why you gotta reboot? Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, reboot it up. We'll talk in the meantime. That's all right. There's one more, talking about RAM details. So let me ask you, let me give you these scriptures that go with it. Forsake foolishness and live and go in the way of understanding. You know, how many, I mean, let's just be honest, okay? Let's really be honest. How many of you know that when you get disturbed with your spouse, sometimes you just act the fool? Can you raise your hand and agree with that? Doesn't matter. I'm sorry? Speak louder. You're not hearing? Is that better, Ozzy? All right. No, really, he can't. He has a say. So I'm gonna talk with a. I'll pretend like I have a deeper voice. So you get the lower tones better, brother. All right. I'm gonna go Barry White on you. All right. So. All right, I got 4 thumbs up, so I guess the video's ready. All right, let's go for the video.
Things come with lots of extra RAM. So they can remember the details of everything. Men's brains come with only the minimum basic requirements to keep us breathing and eating. Okay, it's good. That's why men, a lot of men, we don't hang on to lots of details. They don't stick with us. You know, when an event happens, we just categorize it as an event. All right. Whereas women, it's not just the event; it's all the details connected with an event. You'll run into this when a friend of your family or something will call and you know she just had a baby and then you tell your wife, oh, so and so's called, they had the baby, and she'll say, well, what was it? And he says, well, it was a baby. Well, what kind of baby? I don't know. It's a baby. What difference does it make? Well, how long was it? Well, I don't know. How long? How tall? How many? You know, how much did it weigh? I don't know. Under 20 pounds. You know, but this detail. You know, a woman will come to a guy and say, "How was your day?" And then we go to the RAM, and all it's there is that it was a day. And we say it was fine. And she'll say, well, what happened? And we go to the RAM, and there's nothing there. And we panic. And we go, nothing. But women, they got all this, you know, that's why when a guy retells a story, it's usually pretty much just a bottom line kind of thing. What happened? This happened, that happened, we're done. When a lot of women share what happened, they relive the event in excruciatingly painful detail. I mean, you are there. Yeah. And you know, couples can really fight over this. My wife and I still fight over this one. You know, this just drives us crazy. You know, she just, sweetheart, when your husband asks the question, what did the plumber say? He really doesn't want to know what he said. Well, I said, how you doing? He said, he's fine. I said, well, pretty nice day. What happened? He said, yeah, he got any kids? No, what did he say? Bottom line. You know, details.
Just like I was saying about the movie version, just cut to the chase and tell us what's up. I know for some of you women that's not really what you want to hear. But what we're trying to do is to give you a better understanding of how your man functions. And the same thing holds true for men. We're trying to give you a better idea of how your woman functions. The idea is not to upset you to where it's like, oh, now I understand why you're such a jerk. Okay? It's to give you a better understanding of why when things happen, you have an understanding in your head of, oh, I get it. Okay, I'm just going to leave him alone. And if you put this stuff into practice, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, you're going to find that marriage can be a whole lot better than most people describe it as. Okay? Would you agree with me? All right? So Proverbs 18:15 says, the mind of a person with understanding gets knowledge, and the wise person listens to learn more. Okay? The mind of a person with understanding gets knowledge, and the wise person listens to learn more. Well, I give you credit, because that's why you're here. Right? You're here to learn. You're here to listen. You're here to understand. Plus, the people are really cool and the food's not bad. But the main reason that you're here is to learn and to make life better. Proverbs 18:15 says, wise men and women are always learning, always listening for fresh insights. And that's what we try to do. We try to give you fresh insights all the time. So I'm pretty sure that you're enjoying this series so far. It's going to be this way throughout the entire series. Did someone get anything from today? Yes? And I know the one thing that women are going to get is they have an empty box in their head. That's the one thing that you all are walking away with today. And the one thing that the men are going to walk away from is now they know why I run away. Is what they're going to walk away from. So I just want to encourage you, just try to put something into practice every week. Just try. Okay? That's all I can ask you. We are going to, I want to give you a couple of announcements real quick. Number one, if you have not signed up for the Valentine's Banquet, you have until next Sunday. Okay? So if you want to sign up today, you need to go next door. Right when you walk in the doors, you'll see a table there, and you have to pay. Folks, I'm going to tell you this.